Aloha and welcome back to my loft. This is Elizabeth, and we are going to continue on now with Chapter 2 of Finding Soul Families, a novel by Elizabeth Ann Fenton. Chapter 2. Lotus throws her knapsack in the back of Angela's Prius and hops into the front seat. Angela smiles and says, "I hope you do not mind, but we'll stop by my mother's first. I looked at the map and saw that her place is near Davis's property. I want to check in on her. She is still a bit shaken up about the false alarm. She keeps calling me, asking me if I know anything." "No, I don't mind. I like your mom. Did you tell her about the channeling you did regarding the false alarm?" "Oh, no, I didn't. My mother watches far too much TV. It would make her paranoid," Angela answers, shaking her head and blinking her eyes. "What do you think about what the council said about a cover-up?" "Well, you heard from Davis that there was a cover-up. I wouldn't put a lot of weight on my channeling, though. I think I channeled too soon after the healing you and Hannah gave me. I had such a vivid dream. I think it bled into my reading. I mean, the whole thing about us being lions is a bit far-fetched. It could just be representative of my maternal instincts for you." "I think it is more than that. Do you remember when I dropped the water glass?" "I was in a big daze, but I vaguely remember. The reason I dropped the glass was that you morphed into a lioness right in front of me." "Maybe it was because of the dream I shared." "That is partially true, because the vision started to come on after I heard you say Blossom. But when the channel spoke about Hannah and me as your lion cub, I felt that it was true with every fiber of my being." Angela is thinking about Kristen's telling her that she may have gotten things wrong this time with her reading. Angela is concerned that might be true, and she is worried that she is leading Lotus astray. Angela feels that her channeling may be stretching Lotus's imagination too far from reality. She wants to reassess her channeling process. In the past, Angela has channeled simple information about people and events. "Be careful not to take everything too literally. We need time to process everything and see things from different perspectives," Angela cautions Lotus. "I mean, it's not realistic that we are lions." "Well, no, not in this reality, but in another we are," Lotus says excitedly. "Lotus, please remember, until your healing circle, you had never experienced channeling. It takes a while to get to know the frequencies. I suggest you focus on the connection you have been making with Kuan Yin and not worry about what I saw. Your mother is quite upset." "Yeah, she does seem pretty bent out of shape. I can understand she is feeling left out. She was the one who got us both into healing, and now it is Hannah, whom you just met, who is sparking your interest." "That's not true. Remember, I had my first channel experience the night of the false alarm before I met Hannah. Kuan Yin piqued my interest, along with the positive experience of the entire class. I wanted to share this experience with my mom, but she was unavailable. Remember, I called you." "I'm saying I sympathize with your mom. I shouldn't put words in her mouth. I don't know if she is jealous, but I do know that she was only gone for a weekend and a lot changed. I think we should all take things slowly." They pull into Angela's mother's driveway, and when they enter the house, they see her lying on the sofa with a cold pack on her head. "Mom, are you okay?" Angela asks with concern. Her mother takes the pack off her forehead and rests it in her lap. "Oh, hello, dear. I have been having one of my migraines." "Would you like a healing, Mrs. Smith?" Lotus offers. "That is sweet, Lotus, but I have had these for years. I don't think there's anything you can do. Even my painkillers don't work." Lotus walks around to the back side of the couch. "It can't hurt, though. Do you mind if I do a bit?" "It's okay, Mom. It's like the Reiki I do for you," Angela interjects. "Go ahead then, dear. I don't expect miracles," Mrs. Smith answers. "I do," Lotus thinks. Lotus has her hands on either side of Angela's mother's ear and then just over the crown, and when she walks back and sits down next to Angela, "I hope that helps," Lotus says, feeling confident that what she did was successful. Angela's mother shakes her head and puts her hand to her forehead. "It's gone," she says with disbelief. "I'm glad I brought Lotus," Angela says, feeling slightly surprised. She has sent her mother for many different modalities of healing and given her many Reiki treatments, but nothing has worked. "What did you do, dear?" Angela's mother asked curiously, and then she said, "Never mind, it doesn't matter. If the Lord saw fit to heal me today, then I will not question it. Thank you." "No problem," Lotus said. "I'm going to be staying nearby with a friend, so if you get another headache, you can call me. Andrea can leave my number for you." "Thank you, Lotus. I'll take you up on that." "Do you need any groceries, Mom?" Angela asked. "I can do some shopping for you." No, thank you, Angela. When I get my migraines, I don't have any appetite, so I have plenty of food. Why don't you girls come to the solarium and I will make you some tea? Bertie would love to have some company. I've been neglecting the poor thing lately. When Angela's mother enters the solarium, Bertie, her parrot, flies straight to her shoulder and stays there for the rest of their visit. Thank you for helping my mom, Angela says as they return to her Prius. Sure, do you see why I'm so excited to help Hannah with the healing program? I do. It's amazing how quickly what you did worked. Was that the violet flame technique you used on me? No, I was running energy through her. I felt a shift and it felt complete. It's hard to explain, but I just knew how to trust the process. I feel that something occurred on another timeline that cleared the distortion which has been causing the discomfort. My touch provided the correct vibration to adjust this timeline. I'm afraid I'm not quite following your explanation. It will be interesting to see how long it lasts, Angela says, still not believing her mother's chronic pain could dissipate so quickly. I don't think she will get the headaches again, Lotus answers with an air of confidence that surprises Angela. Angela has been practicing Reiki for years, and she remembers how long it took before she had any confidence that the Reiki she does has any effect. It's always been a hit or miss in her experience. Don't be disappointed if it doesn't last, Angela says, hoping to set the correct expectations for Lotus. Aunt Angela, trust me, I won't be disappointed, and neither will your mother. Angela senses that Lotus is trying to teach her rather than the other way around. This odd scenario is making Angela uncomfortable. Well, I'm glad you're finding your niche, Angela says, and to her dismay, it sounds a little patronizing. First my mother, and now you, Lotus responds. Now me what? Angela asks. Well, you both kept encouraging me to become a healer, and now that I'm diving in and doing healing work, you both seem a bit critical. That is not true, Angela objects. It's just that you just met Hannah and started doing healing techniques, and I think you should keep things in perspective. My perspective is that I have been doing these techniques for lifetimes. Come on, Aunt Angela. I thought you understood multidimensionality, Lotus says. Angela realizes that Lotus's confidence is triggering her insecurity. Angela decides to file that awareness away to reflect on later. I'm thrilled that you're excited about healing, and I'm also grateful how you helped my mother. The truth is, I feel a little overwhelmed. What do you mean? A lot has changed very quickly. I understand, but I feel excited about it. Things need to change quickly, Lotus responds. Maybe, but I need to get my bearings. Let's focus on finding Davis's property. It doesn't look too far off the Kamahama Highway. It's great that he is so close to my mom in Halawi'i town. Hannah told me his place is just a one-room cabin, so she sleeps in a tent. If I stay, I will need to get a tent. I think you better wait and find out if it's okay with Davis. We'll start by having a picnic with them. Are you excited to see Davis? I would say I'm more curious than excited. Your mother is correct in saying he's not my type. One part of me believes what I channeled about Davis and our lying family and Sirius, but the other and more prevalent part feels we are getting caught up in a fantasy. I want to spend time with him and Hannah and see what happens. Well, Davis must attract you. What my mother said was true. You were flirting with Davis. I was not, Angela objects as her face flushes. You were, Lotus repeats in a matter-of-fact tone. Maybe it was just a reaction to how he noticed me. No men take notice of me anymore. I doubt that, Aunt Angela. You're gorgeous. It's true. Not even the occasional cat call, Angela answers, suddenly wondering if her interest is merely a reaction to the fear that no one else has been interested in her for a long time. As Angela parks the car, Lotus jumps out and rushes to Hannah. The two girls embrace in a hug. Beautiful place, Angela says, handing Davis a bag. We brought a few things to eat. Thank you. We have a picnic table behind the cabin, Davis answers, taking the bag from Angela. Davis catches Angela's eye and quickly looks away, taken off guard. I'm so excited you are here, Hannah says, letting go of Lotus, rushing over to Angela and hugging her. I have so many questions about what you channeled. Davis turns to Angela and raises his eyebrows. You channel as in giving psychic readings, he asks. Yes, Kristen and the girls wanted me to do a channel to find out what happened with the false alarm. I got the message that it was a cover-up. A lot of times people want to validate what I say. Girls, it's not important. I think we're all getting a bit carried away. Let's be grateful everything is okay. But Aunt Angela, everything is not okay. Davis lost his job, Lotus says. I think it's for the best. Isn't this place much nicer than Honolulu? I think my dad should sell his place and live here, Hannah says, extending her arm towards the center of the property. I'm sorry, Davis. I didn't mean to disrespect that you lost your job. I just mean that a cover-up doesn't matter if everything turned out okay and there's no missile, Angela says. But Angela, you heard what the council said. We can't always count on a UFO to intercept humanity's nuclear blunders. It could happen again, Lotus says, feeling like things are far from over. Isn't that what you channeled? Is that what you channeled? That the government is covering up a UFO intervention? Davis asks. He takes a long look at Angela. He is completely smitten with her, but he is a bit wary that she is filling his daughter's head with notions of UFOs. Davis surprised himself by allowing Hannah to invite his neighbors from Diamond Head to visit his property. He is hoping that he didn't make a big mistake. We assume that is what you heard when you said there was a massive cover-up, Angela says, feeling a bit uncomfortable as the direction of the conversation. She wants to have a casual picnic and get to know Davis better before divulging her livelihood as a psychic. No, it wasn't a UFO cover-up. I don't know what happened, and I wouldn't be at liberty to tell you if I did, but I know that I did not hit the wrong button. It's not how our system functions. There was an inbound missile. If I had to guess, I would say it was a rogue submarine that sent the missile and that our military took it out. I have no idea why they would want to cover it up and make it look like my department is incompetent, or more specifically, that I'm an idiot. I wasn't going to stick around in that kind of environment. Since coming to Hawaii and getting involved with the government, I have to say the corruption is overwhelming. I miss the days when you get called to put a fire out, and that is what you do. You put the fire out. No BS. By chance, my old captain from the fire station where I worked in California recently relocated. He called me last night to offer me a firefighter position in Boise, Idaho. In Boise, Idaho? Why would you move there? Hannah asked, confused. Maybe he's afraid there'll be another strike on Honolulu, Lotus answers. No, I'm no longer worried about a strike to Honolulu. Whoever is responsible for the attack will not try the same thing again. I want to return and do the job that I know I'm good at, and for someone who appreciates my professionalism. I guess in a way Hannah is right. Things did turn out for the best, just not the way I planned. This is news to me. When will you go? Hannah says, looking at her father and then at Angela, wondering how they will get together if Davis moves away. Hannah feels that Angela might be the bridge her father needs to awaken. I told the captain I'd think about it and get back with him in a few days. I wanted to talk to you. You can stay here if you like, but I plan to rent out the Diamond Head house. I thought I would put all my stuff in the bunker, and if it works out in Boise, I'll sell the house. I like the idea you were selling the house, but I thought you hated being a fireman, Hannah asked, still confused. No, I liked it. When I took too many overtime shifts, I didn't. Why did you leave then? It was too hard to stay in the same town as your mother, especially after she remarried. I probably would have taken a position at another station further away, but I met a woman while I was on vacation in Waikiki. There were no firefighter positions there, so I took an EMT job, and eventually that led me to the job I have, or rather had, at emergency response. I liked that job. I didn't know you had a girlfriend in Hawaii, Hannah says. You and I weren't speaking at the time. My relationship with Tammy didn't last very long. Looking back on it, I think I used the relationship as an excuse to leave California. I was a little bummed that I gave up my firefighter retirement, but now it looks like it's all working out. Except you have to live in Boise, Idaho, Hannah points out. Yes, but I will still have this place on the North Shore where I can retire or come if things get crazy in the mainland. My captain also says he has a great rental for me in the North End, which is the hip residential area of Boise. Well, it sounds like you made up your mind, Hannah says. What are you going to do with Merlin, your cat? I will take him with me, of course. I promised Beth. Yes, this is working out well, Merlin thinks. He is stretched out on the picnic bench where Davis is arranging the different food items. Oh yes, very well indeed. I can be back in the Northwest with the civilized city cats and away from the coyotes. Merlin shuts his eyes and takes a quick remote view of the north end of Boise. Oh yes, that is just the place for this cat, he thinks. Why don't you leave Merlin here and I will look after him until you settle in Boise, Hannah asks. I can help as well, that is, if it's still okay for me to stay here in the North Shore with Hannah, Lotus says. I don't mind if you both stay. It will be better for Hannah to have a friend, but I will take Merlin with me to Boise. It's not just because I promised Beth. I'm attached to the little guy. Oh, I love men who are into cats. It's too bad you're moving away, Angela says, smiling at Davis. Maybe you could come visit us sometime, Davis replies, thinking a long-distance relationship is more his speed these days. Davis had resigned himself to being single, but Angela attracted him in a familiar way that he has never experienced. It intrigues him. I might take you up on that, Angela says, feeling a little excited about having somewhere to travel. Well, since we are all here now, let me give you a tour of the place. I don't have much acreage, but I have planted quite a few fruit trees. The mango grove is at the back of the property. I have been using it as a live fence since the trees are tall. Mangoes have finished for the year, but I put starfruit bushes in front of the mango, and they are quite plentiful. Hannah hands Lotus and Angela each a bag. I was going to pick the starfruit ahead of time, but I thought it would be much more fun if we did it together. And you're welcome to take home whatever you pick. Wow, thank you, Angela says, taking a bag from Hannah. I'll take them to my mother. Her parrot is crazy about starfruit. I think she likes its shape with so many points to chew and hold. I want to meet that bird, Hannah says. We were just there. Angela's mom's house is close by. I'll take you to visit sometime. I want to tell you later about the healing I did for her. It was completely amazing, Lotus says to Hannah. And taking her hand, they skip ahead of Davis and Angela. 2 peas in a pod, those two are. It's refreshing to see Lotus with a friend. She's usually very reclusive, Angela says. I'm not sure it's a good idea to leave them alone here. What do you think? Davis asks. I think it'll be good for Lotus. I'm not worried about her getting in trouble. I think they will have fun setting up their healing practice together. Well, that's just what I'm worried about for Hannah. Lotus is going off to college next year and she will get a good education, but Hannah quit school and I'm afraid she's a bit unrealistic. I got healing from them and I don't think they're unrealistic. Hannah and Lotus are both very gifted. What is wrong with you? Davis asked with sudden concern. What do you mean? I mean, why did you need a healing? Oh, I'm not sick if that's what you're asking. It was a spiritual healing that I received. I'm afraid I don't understand. Hannah told me the other day that she came to Hawaii to heal her life. It makes no sense to me. She is perfectly healthy. I think she is talking about emotional well-being. Oh, you need qualifications to work with the public, David said. He wants to add that he doesn't want his daughter involved in quackery, but he refrains. I'll be sure if the girls work with the public that they have all the proper waivers. Let's join the girls and then get the picnic going, Angela says, hoping to steer the conversation away from the eclectic and back to the picnic. After filling their bags with the waxy yellow starfruit, the group returns to the picnic table. This spread looks delicious, Lotus says, dipping a taro trip into guacamole. I think I'm going to like living here, Hannah says, wondering why her dad would even consider removing away. End of chapter 2. Thank you.